Well, I was on my way to have some good pictures taken, but unfortunately found myself to be the car on the side of the road everyone's reporting on Waze.
Well, at the end of the day, this could definitely be much worse. This is my first time ever being stranded in this car. And it's not because of some catastrophic failure. It's not because I broke something crazy at the track. I think I was just a little too low on water in my coolant system. So now I'm just waiting for my wife to bring me some more distilled water to put in the system. Hopefully that's it, and we'll skip pictures and go straight home. At the end of the day, I choose to be grateful. So as you can see, the garage is kind of a wreck right now. You can see a bit of latent coolant from my little mishap yesterday. You can see the battle scar from the event last weekend, but we carry on. Got important work to do, so might as well get to it.
You know those projects you avoid like the plague because you know it's not just gonna go according to plan for you? This is that. When I committed to switching from ECM Link to FuelTech, the motor was still brand new and hardly broken in. I've never done work on my car like I've done over the past year, and especially knowing it was properly assembled in time before going back in the car, I was especially reluctant to touch any of the timing components. On a setup like mine, you'd ideally remove the motor, delete the balance shafts, and replace the stock 2-tooth crank trigger wheel with a 12-1 trigger wheel from Kiggly Racing. Deleting the balance shafts makes room to install the mounting plate they designed to put on a 2G or EVO cam sensor, which would replace the stock crank sensor typically found on the other side of the crank. However, when you've never rewired your entire car before, never done a timing belt job, and don't trust yourself not to ruin a motor that has already been running perfectly fine until you decided to make it complicated, you go for the next best option. I bought a 1G green top CAS unit from my somewhat local DSM buddy Lane, and swapped the stock trigger wheel for a Yoshi Fab 24 tooth wheel, allowing the ECU to basically estimate the crankshaft position with mostly accurate precision. I was going to at least wait until the off season to decide whether or not to cave and go Kiggly, but even in wasted spark, I've encountered cam sync issues here and there.
Alright, I had to switch lenses because it was way too dark to see anything. The previous footage, I'm just going to continue where I left off.
By the time I'm getting around to this, I've already eliminated my stock power steering pump. It's definitely high time to install its replacement, but the belt and pulley being out of the way absolutely simplified this job. I ended up being really glad I didn't relocate my alternator as well. The grinding it took to get the MCR unit to fit in the stock location proved worth it as far as being able to reach things.
This is insane. It sucks. I hope I never have to do this again.
After removing the AC pulley, I'd realized I'd rather never put it back on and have easier access in case I had to do this all over again, rather than try and reactivate my lackluster stock AC system.
Of course, it's in the most unreachable spot. I don't even get to benefit from AC in my car. Maybe I won't reinstall the AC tensioner. Alright, last belt. Let's go. Yes! Yes! I did it!
I didn't even know whether or not my motor had balance shafts, so I was pleasantly surprised to learn they'd already been deleted when I finally removed the lower timing cover.
Stock crank trigger. You're fired.
I planned on running a front-facing oil filter housing. With the timing cover off, this would be a good time to make the switch.
Just gonna sit right here. Gotta check and make sure that everything can still clear. Okay. There we go. Okay, so we've got contact. That sandwich plate cannot remain. It's not like it's set in stone yet anyway. Okay, guess you're gonna have to go directly on. And now, yep, we've got enough clearance. It's much better. Give me a better peace of mind. Just hand tight. That's gonna make it more difficult to change the oil. So, and I forgot to put on the gasket. Wonderful. I think I'm gonna revert to stock. Not even kidding.
The front-facing filter would put it closer to the side exit exhaust, so I'm actually going to be sticking with the stock housing, at least for now.
Great. How about that? I've got the bracket and the hardware in this one. In this one I've got the actual 12-1 tooth. I'm happy I have it all here. Now it's just a matter of how do I release the tension safely. We'll find out. So I went ahead and did a little bit of cleaning. It's still kind of a mess, but I have enough room here to add my new toy. Alright, I want to secure it properly. Wait, does it come with bolts? Oh, I guess not. Well, I guess I won't secure it. I guess it's fine that it can move around a bit. It's a little mobile. If I decide I want it to have a permanent spot, I guess that's a decision I can make later. This is going to take getting used to. 6-inch jaws. Great. Okay. That's the current state of things.
I was most terrified to remove the hydraulic tensioner. Once I did it, there would be no going back. I'd either get this right and enjoy the fruits of my labor, or get it wrong and regret even trying.
I don't think that one needs to line up. Go look it up. Just gonna go ahead and commit. Just so nervous, but I'm doing it anyway now. We're going. If I mess this up, there's gotta be a way to fix it, right? At least we can hope. It's gotta come off anyway. Chances of doing this perfectly the first time are minimal, but it's gotta come off. There's no going back. I think I understand what I'm doing. I've read the VFAC over and over, watched multiple videos over and over. Now the part that has to be done gently. Yes, it's not bolted on. I just got it today. I'm nervous. Leave me alone. I really don't want to damage this. Holding it as straight as I can. It is already resisting me. I can see why it's ideal to have it bolted down. I really don't want to do damage here. But maybe treating it a little too gingerly. Very difficult to do without this thing bolted down. I really actually may not have to move this a ton to be able to get this job done. Looks like the lower timing belt's gonna come off without me adjusting or taking off that pulley up there, the tensioner pulley. I'm gonna try and do this carefully. I don't want to do any damage. Looks like it's more willing to come off the sprocket first, so I'm gonna commit to that. Timing belt is off. That's terrifying. Okay. Alright. This really is the moment of truth. Take off the crank sprocket. Pretty sure you, my friend, need to come off. Yep. Wow. This is terrifying. The whole thing is basically like that before. It's basically how it was. Alright. Okay, so we'll start with disc 1. Shim disc 1. He's on there. I'm such a mess. Now I want the Kiggly trigger. There we go. All right, outer shim disc is on. All right, now taking the crank sprocket. This is the way it went before, so. Oh, what's different? What's the matter, buddy? This is your home, you can go. It's not just sliding on. There we go. There we go, it's on. Not gonna tighten it yet. I'm gonna put Loctite on the bolt. And I've still got another piece to do. I'm gonna go ahead and do what I believe is the first step of that next piece, which is actually to remove this bolt. I don't want to risk destroying this. Okay, it's one, and I am here trying to use hand tools, but can't do that much damage with this thing, can I? Just want you. Thank you. It's off. Now comes the fun part, which would be crown jewels. So it's one is you, one is you. Just go ahead and just see if I can. I'm gonna try and get it on at the top bolt first. Try and position it where it's gotta go. Nice and tight. Okay, I'm actually gonna rewind a little bit anyway. Blue thread locker. Gonna do it on both threads. I got a ton of vibration down here. We'll do one at a time, just in case it ever decides to try me. Definitely used a little more than I intended, but I don't believe it's the end of the world. This is so much better than sleep. It's so necessary. Okay, nice and tight. Okay, I put it on the wrong side. Common sense, I'm just nervous. Do not break, please.
Wiring wasn't too bad. I just repurposed the original cam sensor from before running FuelTech and spliced the pigtails into where I cut the original crank sensor that was now coming off the car. This gave me enough extra slack to tuck the wires behind where the belt would be mounted.
Okay, this is my finished harness. I may clip off this and manually splice it. Yeah, I have an idea. It's almost 2 a.m. on a Saturday night, but I'm pretty sure I've got everything set, wiring and all. I've just got to reassemble, and I need to put the tensioner back on, but I literally can't do that till tomorrow anyway. Hopefully tomorrow. I don't know, I'm not gonna jinx myself right now.
My tuner Steven prompted me to switch back to the stock cast trigger wheel and to block off the larger tooth hole. This would be simpler than swapping the 1G cast back to a 2G cast and chopping off the larger tooth on the stock trigger wheel on that unit. After reassembling everything with surprisingly few difficulties, the true circus began.
Okay, this could be the moment of truth. 12 minus 1. Let's see if you can do it. See if you can do it. Starting log, starting car.
No crank signal.
Uh-oh. That can't be good. Oh no. You seen it? Alright, so I decided to go ahead and in fact record this. Had to disassemble just about everything again because I made a mistake. That's typically how things go. I wired this wrong, so I am in the process of rewiring it. But I don't know, we make mistakes and move on.
I topped off the fluids and got ready to give it another shot.
Okay.
here goes something. Let's just see what we get here. Great. Using FuelTech's oscilloscope feature, we could see that there was a cam and crank signal, but the FT550 wasn't picking it up. On the bright side, I quickly learned the fastest way to disassemble and reassemble the timing side of the car. I lost count of the amount of times I had to do it. I really thought I could get it right the first time, so I wasn't exactly thrilled to find myself doing the same thing over and over and over again. I switched around the wiring a few times, I played with the air gap between the sensor and the trigger wheel, but nothing was working. Finally, after a week and a half of tinkering around and gathering opinions, I finally found my solution. And here it is, just in case you care. On the 2G cam sensor pigtail, there are 3 wires: red, black, and green. I extended those wires with the old crank sensor's wires, which are red, black, and blue. I presumed that on both, that red was positive, black was ground, and blue/green was signal. But I was talking on the phone to my friend Caleb, and he said that with the electronics that he works with, green is typically ground. I also talked to FuelTech support, who recommended swapping the ground and signal wires. As it turns out, red was in fact 12 volts, black was signal, green was ground. Now the car was ready to start. Okay, this is the real and actual moment of truth. Let's see if we can start it up and then dial in the ignition. I am very anxious about this. We're starting in wasted spark. I swear I'm forgetting something. Let's just try it. Let's try falling edge real quick. It's probably gonna be pretty loud if it does work. Let's try again. Okay, it's definitely rising. I'm gonna try turning up the crank index to 75 to start. I'm gonna cut fuel when I'm starting this time. I don't know. Let's try 256. I don't know what's off. Let's try killing fuel. You saw fire? What do you mean fire? Oh, okay. Okay. It is time. Let's see if the car can do it. I'm pretty sure it can. Oscilloscope on. Okay. Coughed a bit there. Let's try it again. Close. Trying at 75. He likes it. It may be flooded. If it's flooded, maybe I miss its starting fuel. I think it's getting too much fuel. See how you do now. There we go. Likes that better. Let's try again. Start a log. Nah. Well, yeah, let's try it. Okay, so let's try this. Okay,
is the last trick I've got up my sleeve. Now we got strong battery power. Start again.
Starter's overloaded.
Again. Let's try it again. Okay. That's it.
Thank you for calling FuelTech. Please listen carefully as our menu options have changed.
Hey there, I am calling just trying to fire up my car. I got my wiring sorted out and I was hoping you may be able to just help me figure out the crank index real quick. So it's a 7-volt 4G63. I previously had a wiring problem, talked to a couple people, figured it out. It's currently in wasted spark, cams turned off. I've got sync, it just won't stay running. I've also got a timing light hooked up. All right. Ooh, it almost had it. Going for it. Well, there it was for a couple seconds there. Gonna do it one more time, 1 sec. There we go. Oh, it just died, but it ran there for a bit. I'm gonna try and set the ignition real quick. One sec. Oh yeah, let's go slightly higher. Let's go the other direction. Right there. Okay, again. Here we go again. Needs a little help. We're gonna see if we can get away with a little drive. Collect some data.
I was able to take the car for a few short drives to adjust the map, and it drove better than it ever has before. After driving around for a bit, I noticed that the car sprung a leak. It was from behind the timing cover, and it was actually from one of the bolts to the mounting plate. After tracking it down and sealing it, I had a solid car again. Then I was off to meet that photographer I was supposed to meet at the beginning of the video.
Here, get in the photo.
How's it going?
Oh, you're gonna look so good in this photo. Come on, let's get right by the car.
Yeah.